What are circadian rhythms? Circadian rhythm is your sleep-wake pattern over the course of a 24-hour day. It helps control your daily schedule for sleep and wakefulness. Most living things have one. Circadian rhythm is influenced by light and dark, as well as other factors. The brain receives signals based on your environment and activates certain hormones, alters your body temperature, and regulates your metabolism to keep you alert or draw you to sleep. Some may experience disruptions to their circadian rhythm because of external factors or sleep disorders. Maintaining healthy habits can help you respond better to this natural rhythm of your body. Circadian rhythms are physical, mental, and behavioral changes that follow a 24-hour cycle. These natural processes respond primarily to light and dark and affect most living things, including animals, plants, and microbes. Chronobiology is the study of circadian rhythms. One example of a light-related circadian rhythm is sleeping at night and being awake during the day. Biological clocks are organisms' natural timing devices that regulate the cycle of circadian rhythms. They are composed of specific molecules, proteins, that interact with cells throughout the body. Nearly every tissue and organ contains biological clocks. Researchers have identified similar genes in people, fruit flies, mice, plants, fungi, and several other organisms that make the clock's molecular components. A master clock in the brain coordinates all the biological clocks in a living thing, keeping the clocks in sync. In vertebrate animals, including humans, the master clock is a group of about 20,000 nerve cells, neurons, that form a structure called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, or suprachiasmatic nucleus. The suprachiasmatic nucleus is in a part of the brain called the hypothalamus and receives direct input from the eyes. Natural factors in our body produce circadian rhythms. For humans, some of the most important genes in this process are the period and cryptochrome genes. These genes code for proteins that build up in the cell's nucleus at night and lessen during the day. Studies in fruit flies suggest that these proteins help activate feelings of wakefulness, alertness, and sleepiness. However, signals from the environment also affect circadian rhythms. For instance, exposure to light at a different time of day can reset when the body turns on period and cryptochrome genes. Circadian rhythms can influence important functions in our bodies, such as hormone release, eating habits and digestion, body temperature. However, most people notice the effect of circadian rhythms on their sleep patterns. The suprachiasmatic nucleus controls the production of melatonin, a hormone that makes you sleepy. It receives information about incoming light from the optic nerves, which relay information from the eyes to the brain. When there is less light, for example, at night, the suprachiasmatic nucleus tells the brain to make more melatonin so you get drowsy. What factors can change circadian rhythms? Changes in our body and environmental factors can cause our circadian rhythms and the natural light-dark cycle to be out of sync. For example, mutations or changes in certain genes can affect our biological clocks. Jet lag or shift work causes changes in the light-dark cycle. Light from electronic devices at night can confuse our biological clocks. These changes can cause sleep disorders and may lead to other chronic health conditions, such as obesity, diabetes, depression, bipolar disorder, and seasonal affective disorder. How are circadian rhythms related to jet lag? When you pass through different time zones, your biological clock will be different from the local time. For example, if you fly east from California to New York, you lose 3 hours. When you wake up at 7 a.m. on the East Coast, your biological clock is still running on West Coast time, so you feel the way you might at 4 a.m. Your biological clock will reset, but it will do so at a different rate. It often takes a few days for your biological clock to align with a new time zone. Adjusting after gaining time may be slightly easier than after losing time because the brain adjusts differently in the two situations. How do researchers study circadian rhythms? Scientists learn about circadian rhythms by studying humans and by using organisms with similar biological clock genes, such as fruit flies and mice. Researchers doing these experiments control the subject's environment by altering light and dark periods. Then they look for changes in gene activity or other molecular signals. Scientists also study organisms with irregular circadian rhythms to identify which genetic components of biological clocks may be broken. Understanding what makes biological clocks tick may lead to treatments for jet lag, sleep disorders, obesity, mental health disorders, and other health problems. It can also improve ways for people to adjust to nighttime shift work. Learning more about the genes responsible for circadian rhythms will also help us understand more about the human body. Circadian rhythm sleep disorders. Circadian rhythm sleep disorders involve either difficulty falling asleep, waking up during the sleep cycle, or waking up too early and being unable to fall back to sleep. Treatment options include bright light therapy, medications, and behavioral therapy. Treatment choice depends on the disorder type and how much it affects your quality of life. What are the symptoms of circadian rhythm sleep disorders? Symptoms of circadian rhythm sleep disorders include insomnia, difficulty falling asleep or staying asleep, excessive daytime sleepiness, difficulty waking up in the morning, sleep loss, depression, stress in relationships, poor work/school performance, inability to meet social obligations.